If you want to learn more about science, you're going to want to start reading the primary literature. And by that, I mean peer-reviewed journal articles. But they're a little bit different from what normal people read. So we need to use slightly different strategies when we read scientific journals. Scientific papers seem daunting for a lot of people, but once you get comfortable with them, you can learn a lot of cool stuff. So let's talk about the first thing you want to do. First, you want to look at the authors and their institutions. You're looking for, are these reputable people? Are they coming from a reputable institution? Not all institutions are equal, and some stuff does get through the peer review process without being a particularly good paper. If this is a paper that was assigned to you by your professor, it's probably reputable. They probably did a good job. And that is a great opportunity for you to start to recognize what is reputable and what is not. If you have simply found something through a search engine, then this is a really important opportunity to make sure that you are reading a good article. The next thing you want to look at is the journal. Not all journals are equal. If you find a listing for the journal in PubMed or Web of Science, it's probably fine. And certainly if it's in Science or Nature, yeah, that paper is a big deal. There are a lot of journals out there that are actually predatory. They are trying to prey on researchers who just want to get their research published. And in some of those journals, the peer review process isn't as rigorous. Now, once you start reading, of course, you're going to want to take notes. Especially take down any words that you don't understand. Remember, scientific words have very specific definitions, so it's really important that you understand all of those terms. But now let's talk about the different sections of a scientific paper. The first part is the abstract, then you'll find an introduction, some people might call it the background, then there'll be a method section, results, and then a discussion or a conclusion of the results. In different journals, you might find these in a slightly different order. What's interesting is some journals actually put the methods at the end because that is, the nitty-gritty, how it was happened, when really most people are interested in the results and the significance of it. But even though this is the order by which it's presented, you might want to read it in a slightly different order. I recommend start here. Start with the introduction or the background of the paper. The first thing you want to do, see if you can identify the big questions. What is this field trying to answer in the first place? And then, what are the specific questions of this paper? Is there a specific thing it's trying to address? Then, go to the methods. You want to understand how they went about trying to answer this question, especially when you are first trying to understand scientific papers and a specific field. Literally, draw the methods. Can you draw a flow chart? They did this thing, then they did this, and they did this. And that will help you visually understand the process of the experiment they went through. Next, look at the results. First, you want to just write them down. What are they? We first need to just see what they are before we try to interpret them in any way. And then, of course, look at the discussion. What do the authors think? You can then double check this by looking at other papers and seeing what other authors think of this paper. There are a couple features on different academic search engines where you can do a forward citation and you can see how many other people have cited this paper. There's not many other people? Well, probably wasn't that important. If there are a lot of citations, well, then that's something to look at a little bit further. And then lastly, look at the abstract. The abstract is a short paragraph that details, the overarching idea and the importance of this paper. And now, after you've gone through this paper, you want to see, does it match what you found? Of course, it is important to make sure you check what other scientists think, because of course the people who write and publish that paper think it's important. So you want to look if it's been cited a lot, if other people agree or not. What is interesting is there are some researchers whose career has been made because there's another lab who thinks something completely different, so they spend their entire careers just writing counter papers to each other. I did not come up with these guidelines. This was put together by Dr. Jennifer Raff. And here is the infographic straight from her. You can see she numbered these steps a little bit differently. So you might want to use hers or mine depending on which one makes more sense for you. I highly recommend you check out Dr. Jennifer Raff's blog. She has this wonderful writing at violentmetaphors.com. So now that we've talked about this, can you find a scientific paper and tell me what questions it answers?